What is up? And welcome to another episode of Future Watch presented by Dine Sports. As always, I'm Derek Lee. This is the late great Bobby Ross, and on today's episode, we're going to be unraveling the game of USNDTP forward Cutter Gauthier. Let's get into it. Cutter Gauthier, the son of former professional hockey player Sean Gauthier, is an American player who was actually born in Skellefteå, Sweden. Cutter is a versatile forward who plays the left wing but can play all three forward positions. He finished second on the USNDTP in goal scoring with 34 goals and fifth in team scoring with 65 points this season. All right, let's have a look at his InStat page. Cutter Gauthier is already signed up next year for the Boston College Eagles. He's going to be number 19 in the video clips that we see, playing for the United States, born January 19th, 2004. So he's actually on the older end in terms of the scale with the September cutoff coming up in the draft. He's 6'3", 194 pounds. He's already got an NHL frame, a left-handed player who I said was versatile. He can play left wing, right wing, and center. And the heat map actually just isn't working on InStat. So, but we can see that he possesses the puck 60% of the time in the offensive zone over his last 5 matches. So that's quite a big number in terms of offensive zone time. And then we're going to look at his distribution of points. You could see that he scores a lot more than he assists. So he's primarily a goal scorer, but he can make plays, which we'll get into as well in the video. A little area of concern here, moderate concern. Again, he takes a little bit more penalties than he's going to draw. As we get down a little bit more, we're going to see 7 shots per game on net. That is a huge number. That's the biggest number you're going to see among draft eligible players. So he likes to shoot the puck. That's very clear. Although his shot selection, which is something we'll get into in the video, can be rather poor. And you'll see 55%, not a great number in terms of how much of those shots are actually hitting the net, but he likes to shoot it. He's a very physical player. He is a big body, and he likes to throw it around, 1.23 hits per game, second to only Joachim Kemmel, who we teed up as a physical player in one of our previous videos, and he rarely gets hit, 0.3 hits against per game. Pretty respectable number there. And just before we get into the video clips, let's have a quick look at Cutter Gauthier's shot map and see what it tells us. So you could see that he likes to shoot the puck, as we mentioned earlier, and he likes to shoot from pretty much everywhere. Very diverse, populated shot map there. Some concern here for me in the high slot area. 50% of the time he's hitting the net from the high slot area, 61 out of 120 in terms of shot attempts. That's a little bit of a concern if you're looking for a goal scorer who can hit the net with accuracy. Maybe not the most accurate wrist shot from the high slot area. Now, as you move closer toward the net, obviously that number is going to jump up. You'd like to see it above 80. He's right around 80, not a huge concern. Now, the impressive part to the shot map to me is in this right circle. You could see that he's probably deadly accurate with the one-timer. So that might actually be his best shot, and we'll see if we can prove that in the video clips. But 67.4% hitting the net from the right circle as a left shot player, pretty impressive. The other thing I'm really impressed about with Cutter Gauthier is his goals. Let's take a look at his goals, because primarily goal scorers score their goals on the man advantage. That happens in the NHL. That happens pretty well everywhere along the lines for goal scorers. But let's have a look. Of the 34 goals he's scored, just 4 of them have come on the man advantage. So he is scoring a pile of goals at 5-on-5, which is really impressive. I said we were going to get into the clips, and we will, I promise, but I lied for a second because I found a little bonus factor to Cutter Gauthier's game that I just wanted to share with you quickly, and that is his ability in the face-off circle. You don't see it too much, but as a winger, you're seeing it more and more in the modern NHL. If a winger is better than the center on the draw, especially on the man advantage, they're going to move into to the middle of the ice to take the face-off and then revert to their wing position. And as we can see here, just 42 samples, so not a huge sample, but Cutter Gauthier is definitely strong on the face-off circle, especially in the offensive zone, especially from the left circle. So I use Chris Kreider as a really good comparable for Cutter Gauthier when looking at ultimately what this player could be at his ceiling. I think that's a really close comparable. He's a versatile winger. He can play all the positions up front. He's going to be primarily a goal scorer over a playmaker, and his face-off ability is pretty damn impressive. So that's something to keep an eye on. Now, one thing to mention is that he's probably playing against much smaller competition right now at 6'3", 200 pounds. So as that moves to the NHL, typically you see a major dip, at least at the start of their career. But this is something to keep an eye on for Cutter Gauthier because that can add another layer to his versatility. Let's begin with the thing that stands out most about Cutter Gauthier's game, and that's his shooting and goal scoring ability. Let's have a look. One thing that really stood out to me immediately when breaking down the tape is looking at Gauthier's ability to drive to the middle of the ice before shooting the puck. He does this very often. We're going to see the puck rimmed around the boards here. He's going to pick the puck up and immediately goes toward the middle and just a swing shot on net. It's not the hardest shot. It's not the most accurate shot, but it's shooting from a higher percentage location. And here we're going to see his actual release. His release is quite good. It's very quick and snappy. The problem I have with it is it's not nearly to the same degree of accuracy that a player like Joakim Kemmel has, or Jonathan Lekkerimäki, for example. The top-end goal scorers of this draft have a much better shot than Cutter Gauthier, but he has the bigger frame, and he's the guy that can get to the better shooting locations. So when you combine it all, maybe they somewhat even out, but I still don't see him as a prolific sort of 35 to 40 goal scorer at the NHL level. He'll be more of a complementary goal scorer who finishes right around 20 to 30 goals every season at this season. Now, I did mention when we were looking at his shot map that I wanted to see if his one-timer was actually his most accurate shot. And it turns out he does have a pretty good one-timer. It's not going to blow you away again with a full swing sort of Steven Stamkos-esque one-timer that's going to be buried every time. But he does have an ability to get it to the net, which is pretty impressive from that right circle. So he could be used again as probably a secondary power play unit guy on that right circle as a left-hand shot. There, he gets it right through, almost creates a rebound opportunity. And here's one where he gets a really nice snap on the perfect pass across from Cooley and buries it. Up next, we're going to take a look at another relative strength of Cutter Gauthier's game, which is his skating ability. Gauthier uses a long, powerful stride effectively when carrying the puck in transition. He has a decent amount of explosiveness in his first few strides. His edge work is surprisingly good for a player his size, but the best asset of his skating ability overall is probably his balance. He just has a great center of gravity, and he's really, really hard to knock off the puck. Now Gauthier working right out in front, and more shot, scored! Gauthier's overall ability to move with the puck gets further enhanced by his puck protection skills in his hands. Although there's more prominent skill players in this draft class, no question, Gauthier has a really nice set of mitts, and I think that's something that gets overlooked quite a bit. Here's a quick example of all three things I just mentioned: using his body to protect the puck, bounces off the check, uses his hands to free himself up, and then his great explosiveness and skating ability. Up next, we're going to dive into Cutter Gauthier's physicality. Let's have a look.
Line, loose puck along the wall, Lamb on a forecheck, gets upended, shot, rebound, given up.
While physicality is a big part of Gauthier's game, I don't think he's really the nasty player that people might actually be thinking he is. When I went into the clips, I was expecting to see some real heavy body work being done. And what I seen was that he's a guy who likes to finish his check. He's a guy who does play effectively by using his 6'3" frame to separate players from the puck. But he's not necessarily going out there and trying to take people's heads off. Let's have a look at Cutter Gauthier's overall playmaking ability. As I mentioned, it's not his bread and butter, but it is something that he's better at than people think. Let's have a look.
One live in Montreal on Samuel Montembeault. It was brilliant as the Americans are coming in 2-on-1. Cutter Gauthier, he's in a cross. Score! As the Americans, that high-end skill comes up.
USA with it here in their own zone. Stretch through center. Over the line came USA. Dropped off in a shot.
Gauthier actually combines a few skills on this play. Let's slow this one down and have another look.
A shot from...
I really like the deception on this goal. Watch how he almost has the puck stripped, goes around the defender with a toe drag, but watch how he dips his shoulder down here. And it makes the defender think he's going to drive the net. Quick little drop pass inside the stick. Gets it to his teammate, fires it in for the goal. Really nice setup that time. This is going to be a great example of some awareness from Cutter Gauthier offensively. He realizes both the winger and the defender are caught staring at the puck, gets inside positioning with a quick 2 strides, and it's a backdoor feed to Cooley for the tap-in goal. Really nice stuff. Gauthier is just so good at taking on defenders one-on-one. He easily gets around guys sometimes with deception, hands, and puck protection. Gauthier's versatility stretches far beyond just his ability to play all 3 positions offensively. He's a great penalty killer as well. Here's a look at a transition play on the PK. So he's going to intercept the pass with a good stick. Right away, he's going to take off up the ice. Great crossovers, generates great power. And watch how he fakes coming inside, goes outside to the backhand, lays it up for his teammate. Excellent pass. We're going to see quite a few skills at work here. Watch as he looks like he's going to stop up or pass it back, and then he drops the shoulder, turns the defender, goes around him. Great puck protection, goes hard to the net. Ultimately, it's going to lead to an assist. And lastly, here's a quick look at a cross-seam pass on the power play from Cutter Gauthier.
Right side. Seam pass, Snuggerud scores! 2-0.
Cutter Gauthier is one of the more well-rounded players in the draft, yet here's a couple areas that he could work on before getting to the next level. Have a look. Puck possession is such a key part to today's game, and I did notice a little bit of laziness or carelessness, if you want to call it that, with the puck. Here's a quick example. Cross-corner dump in, gives up possession of the puck. Same kind of thing here. His line needs a change. He's aware of that. So it's not the worst play, but at the same time you're giving up possession as opposed to wheeling that thing back in the defensive zone and starting your own rush. You're starting the other team's transition play the other way. Here's a long stretch pass. Now, Gauthier tries to go through the middle before entering the blue line. It's coughed up. That one's ugly, results in a goal against. This one's equally ugly, but the result isn't as bad, as it's not a goal against, but he springs the transition the other way with a lazy pass to the middle of the ice. He does play with some high-risk, high-reward elements to his game. We're going to see that here. Tries to make an extra move at the blue line, and it's picked off. Again, transition the other way. If Gauthier wants to get to the next level where the competition is going to be much bigger, faster, and stronger, he's going to have to make better decisions with the puck. Decision-making can implicate so many different areas of the game. Here we're going to look at Cutter Gauthier's shot selection. I don't think it's as poor as Joachim Kemmel's shot selection, but it's still an area he needs to work on. And here we're going to see 4 German defenders trapped on one side of the ice. You can count them, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got a guy open to his left, and he takes a low percentage shot on net. Again, we're going to see him shoot up the ice in transition, one of his skills. But instead of hanging onto the puck a little bit longer, waiting for teammates to arrive, he wastes one on net. Overall, Cutter Gauthier is a power forward package who has more skill than you think. He reminds me of a Drake Batherson meets Chris Kreider. He has soft hands, great skating, and a distinctive scoring ability. I think his size and speed combination has him shooting up draft boards, largely due to limited players in this year's draft being as big and fast as he is. I think NHL scouts weighing in also impacts the public list, such as Bob McKenzie's list, for example, which has him really high up inside the top 5. Personally, I would be comfortable taking him inside the top 10 after what I've seen.
With a jump. Gauthier in and scores.
a second short-handed goal. So the Terriers are, I guess you could say they're even on the night.
All right, let me know how you're feeling about Cutter Gauthier after watching the video. Do you think he's a top 10 player, or do you think I'm absolutely out of my mind for having him inside my top 10? I could see a team like Columbus taking him 6th overall, and I know the Ottawa Senators would be interested at 7th overall. This has been another episode of Future Watch presented by Dine Sports, powered by InStat Hockey. My name is Derek Lee, this is Bobby Ross, and we're asking that you take it easy.